Hi, this is Omar Kashi with SVT Transition Networks. I am going to demonstrate today camera interoperability with a 362 switch. I'm doing this demo on 4 different switches. All 4 switches were upgraded to the latest firmware of version 7.10.180. The cameras that I'm using are 3 Avigilon cameras on port 1, 2, and 3, an access camera on port 4. All these 4 cameras are class 3 cameras. The settings that I'm using for this demonstration is the settings that Lawrence showed me 2.5 weeks ago to disable all 4 ports, PoE ports, apply that, and then force mode, and then you apply that, and then you do the save config. I have, just because of the purpose of making the video short, I have already set up the last 3 switches with the config on it, and on the first switch I don't have any config whatsoever on it, and I'm going to show you how Lawrence showed me to do this, and it worked on the 24 port PoE++ switch. However, it never worked on the 362. Let's go ahead and start this. So now I'm going to move to the physical switch to show you all the cameras plugged into it. So as you can see on this switch, I have on port 4 I have the access camera, and it's on, and if you can see the port 1 is also on. However, port 3 is off, and port 2 is also off. And let's move to the switch. Okay. So if you look at the switch, I have 1, 2, and 4 on, but 3 is not on. But if I go into the PoE, so now if I look at the PoE configuration, everything is enabled. I haven't changed anything. This is just right off the box. And if I go into the PoE status page, let's take a look at it. I have 1 is on and it has a class 3 on it, and 4 is on and has a class 3 on it. And if you can look at this side of the port status, you can see that PoE port 1 is on and 4 is on. 2 and 3 are off. But if you look at the status screen of the switch, you see that 1, 2, and 4 are on. So now let's go ahead and do the configurations on the switch as Lawrence showed me. So let me just go ahead there. I'll go to PoE configuration, and now let's go ahead and change this. So I'm going to disable it. I'm going to apply that. So it is disabled. All the ports should be off. If you look at the monitor, you go into a PoE, everything is off. I don't have anything on here. Everything should be off. If you look at the physical switch, everything is off as well. Now let's go back here. Now we're going to force mode all PoE 4 ports. Apply. Okay. Did I apply that? Now I'll go into the maintenance configuration, and I'll save the config. Now you'll see that port 3 and 4 will be the only one that will come up. So let me save the config here. If I refresh this, usually 3 and 4 will come up, but now 4 is the only one that is on. So now let's go into the monitor, and then we're going into PoE status page just to see. Okay, for some reason only 4 came up, but 3 is not on. Usually when you do this configurations, what happens is 3 and 4 will only come up, and 1 and 2 is done. But now for some reason, even 3 is not coming up. So that's all to it. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to move to the second switch, the third switch, and the fourth switch. Now if you go to the physical, let me go into the, as you can see here, this is the status page of the PoE, right? Let's go in here and take a look at CLI and log onto it. And then I'll do a show PoE status. You see, it only shows you that the 4-port is on, nothing else. And this is also showing on the web UI. That's all to it. That's the problem that we've been having with this. We've tried to explain this to I believe Ingrid, if I'm not mistaken. But I just wanted to show you that this is the problem that we've been having, and it's not only on this specific hardware, but it's also on any other 362 switch. So now I'm going to move on the second switch, the third switch, and the fourth switch, just to see what's going on with it. So let's just go ahead and move that. So this is my second switch, my third switch, and my fourth switch. I'm going to move the power cable. Let me just put this on hold here for a second. I can't hold the camera and then move the cables at the same time, but let me just do that for the sake of showing you this. So this is how I'm moving that. And port 5 is my management connection, just so you know. All right, I moved all the cables. 1, 2, 3 are all Avigilon cameras, and access is on port 4 as usual, and then I have fifth on my management connection. And now let's just wait and see when it comes up. I'm going to move to the screen now so I can show you from there. Okay, this is the second switch. As you can see, only port 4 is on again. 1, 2, 3 are all down. I have, let me show you the config, the monitor. Let's look into the config of this. You can see that everything is on force mode. And now if I go into the monitor, PoE status, again, only port 4 is on, nothing else. Everything else is down. So all the Avigilon cameras are not even coming on now anymore. This is the second switch. If I go into the configuration, monitor, system, information, this is my second switch. And you saw me when I was moving the cables also. 300032 with the same firmware version, with the same PoE firmware version. Now I'll move on to the third switch. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. I'm gonna move. I'll move the power cable first. I'll wait for it to come up. And when it's ready, let's go into the screen and then we'll move the cables, camera cables, connections. Just waiting for it to come up. Please also note on the serial number, so just so you guys are also aware of the difference of the hardwares that I'm using. Okay, it's up. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna connect. And here. Serial 300034, same firmware version, the latest firmware version and the PoE version. V710-1802-104-001. I don't have any connectivity whatsoever, but as I mentioned earlier, I do have the config of the ports. I made that earlier because of the purpose of making the video shorter. Now if you look at the configuration, the PoE configuration, you can see that everything is set to force mode. Now let's go ahead and move the cables into the ports. Okay, it seems like this time 3 cameras came up, but on port 3 is off. I'm not sure if port 4 is fully up either, so let's take a look. Okay, you can see that everything is up, 1, 2, but 3 is not on, and 4 is not on. Let me just move the cable just in case the cable is not plugged in fully, and you can see that here. Everything is plugged in. Let's take a look at the status page. Okay, you can see that 1 is on, 2 is on, 3 is not on, 4 is on. But if I reboot, most likely only 2 of them will come up. So let's just take a look at it. Restart the device. I'm restarting it. Click on yes. And we'll wait until it comes back up. All right, came back. I hope it kept the configuration. Let's take a look. Yep, it's still config is force mode. And let me refresh it. You see here, only camera on port 4 is on, everything else is off. This is the problem that we've been telling you, that only one probably will show up after the reboot, or sometimes two will show up. And I've been using 4 different switches. This is the third switch that I've been using now. Hopefully you're taking a note of the serial numbers that I'm sharing here with you. 30034 is the serial number, and this is my third switch. Now I'm going to move on to the last switch, and I'll show you from there. Okay, so that's the switch, the third switch. So if you look at from here, I had 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my last switch. So now let me go ahead and move the power cable. Okay, I haven't moved the cameras, so you can also see that I only power up the switch. I'm waiting for the switch to come up fully. When it's up, then I'll move the cables, the camera cables, into the ports, the PoE ports. Let's take a look here and see if the switch is fully up yet. Still coming up. It's not up yet. Alright, it seems like the switch is up. Okay, I'm logging onto the switch. I want to show you the system information. This is my last switch, 300033. Same firmware version. Nothing is plugged in to the ports. Now let's go ahead and move the ports. I also want to show you that I do have the config set up on this. I done this before ahead of time, so I could make the video shorter, but it's taking even longer. So you can see here everything is set force mode. I have set up. I've saved the config on the switch. I'm just moving the cables right now. All right, seems like 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3 are up. And I'm going to show you that on the screen as well. All right, as I said, 1, 3, and 4 are up. Now if you go into the status page, that also shows us that 1, 2, and 4 are up. 3 is down. If I reboot the switch, probably the 4th port is the only one that's going to come back up. Now let's go ahead and restart the switch. Yes. So it's rebooting. And let me see here. I have a continuous ping on it. So you can see that. Just going to wait for the switch to come back up. All right, it seems like it's up. So now let's go ahead and refresh it. Now we're going to log into it. We're going to look at the switch. and only the fourth camera should come back up again, if I'm not mistaken. And I was right. So you can only see that the fourth camera is up. Now if you go into monitor, PoE, status, you can see that everything else is down except for the fourth port. That's what we've been telling you. I hope this is very helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will go ahead and upload this video so you guys can see that tonight, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.